Carrie here. So, back when I started the Female Entrepreneur Association, I began to keep a journal. And in my journal, I would write down all my ideas, all my dreams, all my hopes, and I'd also write down about all my challenges, all the setbacks, all the times where things went horribly wrong, and even on some of the pages you can see like tear marks from where I felt so hopeless and I got so frustrated I didn't know what else to do but cry. And I was recently reading over my journal, and when I was reading over it, I couldn't help but think, how did I get here? Because back before I started the Female Entrepreneur Association, and just before I started writing this journal, I was running a business that I wasn't passionate about. I felt really isolated and lonely, I felt unhappy, and I just felt really, really lost. And I think, how did I go from being in that situation to being in the situation that I'm in today? How did it happen? And I know that I always talk about mindset, about having a positive attitude, about beliefs and all of that kind of thing. And I think that that is so important. And I think if it wasn't for the fact that I changed my attitude and my beliefs and my mindset, I don't think I would be here today. But I think there's also something else that's really, really crucial and that's really helped me, and it's something that I've never really talked about before, and that is building an incredible network up. So I would never have got to where I am today if it wasn't for the fact that I've worked so hard to build an incredible network around myself. So I want to talk about how I've built an amazing network from scratch, because when I started the Female Entrepreneur Association, I literally knew no one. I didn't even really know any other female entrepreneurs. So I want to share with you how I've done that and how I've built it up to get connected and become really great friends and build really great relationships with people that are so unbelievably successful. So I would never ever have considered myself a networker, ever. When I was running my first business, I don't think I went to one single networking event because I didn't want to go along and sell. I wasn't interested in doing it. And I got it completely wrong because I thought that going along to a networking event meant selling. And it doesn't. It does not mean selling at all. Going along to a networking event is all about building relationships. And that is invaluable. And that's why every single person in business needs to network, whether it's online, whether it's offline. They need to network and build relationships, because business is about building relationships with people, getting out there, connecting with other people. And once I realised this, I realised how much I needed to get stuck into it, how much I needed to start building really valuable relationships with other people. So when I started the Female Entrepreneur Association, like I said, I knew no one. I didn't know any other entrepreneurs. And obviously back then, the whole idea with the Female Entrepreneur Association is that I was going to publish stories about female entrepreneurs on my website. And it was kind of a problem because I was like, I'm trying to do this, but I don't actually know any female entrepreneurs whatsoever. So I decided to get started initially using LinkedIn. I decided to network online. So I got on LinkedIn and I joined relevant groups. And then I started posting messages out asking people if they want to share their story. And I started to connect with people and build relationships with people online. And within a really short period of time, I started to get loads and loads of stories coming through. And I started to build incredible relationships with people. So once I started to do that, I realised that I needed to get offline. I needed to actually connect with people, meet people. So I looked up what local events there were and decided to network locally. So I went along to those events, and I went along with the mindset of going to get to know people. I was going to listen to other people, to engage with people, to build relationships with people, meaningful, genuine relationships with people. And that has been incredible because those people became really good friends, and they became the biggest advocates for what I was doing, and I became an advocate for what they were doing. And so we opened the doors for each other. They became a really great group of people that I could go to. You know, if I had a new idea, I could go to them and say, what do you think about this? And it was like I instantly had this network of people around me who I could turn to for help, for advice, to bounce ideas off of, and to kind of grow and develop my business. And that was really invaluable. So I did that for probably about maybe 6 months to a year. And then I started to think I need to kind of expand my network. I wanted to spread my wings a bit. I wanted to get to know more people and build my network more. And so I decided to sit down and think about who I wanted in my network. I started to get really, really clear. And one of the things I thought, and one of the things I asked myself was, in my wildest dreams, who would I want to be in my network? What kind of people did I want in my network? And specifically, who were the people I wanted in my network? Who were they? Who did I look up to? Who did I want to have in my network? And something that really, really helped me to establish this was the question, where do I want to be? Where do I want to get to? What level of success do I want to reach? And if I reached that level of success, who would be with me? Who would be on that level? Who would be there surrounding me if I became that successful? And so I started to identify the kinds of people that would be there. And not only did I identify specific people that I knew of that were that successful, I started to identify what their characteristics were, what their traits were, what kind of people they were, how they carried themselves, what they were like. And I started to really, really start to visualize networking and connecting with those people. I started to really imagine that I was on their level with them. You know, have you ever been to an event where you've been watching someone speak and it's someone who you really think's amazing and you look up to and you think they're so incredible, they're so successful, but as you're sat there in the audience watching them, you can't help but feel like they're up here and you're down here? Because that has happened to me before. I've been along to plenty of events where I have felt like that. But the problem I realised was that for as long as I carried on thinking that I was beneath those people, I was always going to stay there. I was always going to stay under them. They were always going to stay above me. And so I knew that I had to change. If I wanted to go up and be on their level, I had to put myself there. I truly, genuinely believe that if you want to manifest something, if you want something, you have to feel it and believe it on the inside first. So I knew that I had to start seeing myself as successful as those people in order to become as successful as those people, in order to be seen as on their level. I knew that that had to come from within me. So I started to change. And when I went along to events, I would go there and I'd be sat in the audience and I'd be watching these phenomenal people, and I would just know that I was supposed to be there with them. I knew that I belonged up there. And so, for example, like I went along to events where they had panels and I would be watching the panel and I would be thinking I should be on that panel, I should be up there, and I felt comfortable in the knowing that I could be sat next to those people and that I would be sat next to those people. And it wasn't a feeling of one day I'll get there, it was more a feeling of I'm already there. I'm already there with those people. I feel it entirely. I'm supposed to be with those people. And having that mindset helped me to make this transition from feeling on this lower level to raising myself up to being on the same level as the people that I wanted in my network. And so then I started to visualize. Once I got really clear and I set my intentions, I started to visualize mingling with these people. I started to vividly imagine getting to know them. So some of the people that I knew I specifically wanted to get to know, I started to have conversations with them on my head like we were best friends, like I'd known them for ages. I'd start chatting to them and I'd start to feel like I would get to know these people in my mind. I'd start to visualize being invited along to exclusive events and those people would be at them, walking into the room. How would it feel when, as I walked into the room and I met those people? How would they greet me? What would I be wearing? How would I feel? How would I stand? How would I be speaking to them? Would I be speaking to them like I was some kind of fan of theirs? No, I would be speaking to them like we were on the same level. And so I started to vividly imagine this happening. I started to really get crystal clear. It was as if it was already happening. So as I began to do this, crazy things started to happen. All of a sudden, people started to pop up into my life through various different channels, through online, through LinkedIn, through people that I knew, and I started to get invited along to things. And I decided that when someone invited me along to something, even if I didn't know who was going to be there or what I was going to get out of it, I was going to say yes. And for me at the time this worked. I started saying yes to basically everything, and you know, it worked for me. I'm not sure saying yes all the time works, because then you end up saying yes to everything and burning yourself out. But sometimes it works if you really want to build your network and you're out there for the adventure, you want to explore, you want to open yourself up to possibilities, then sometimes saying yes is the best thing that you can do. Opening yourself up is so powerful, and it's a great way to start connecting with people. So one of the examples of this happening was on LinkedIn. So I started to basically develop and build my network on LinkedIn. LinkedIn, and this guy who I didn't actually know had sent me a message on LinkedIn asking me if I would like to be a judge on a student entrepreneur competition thing. And I said, yes, sure, I'd love to. It was down in London, and I didn't know really what it was going to entail, who was going to be there, was it going to be worth the train fare? I didn't know, but I was going to go, I was going to be there. So I turned up at this event, and then as it happened, it was a great event. There wasn't very many people there at all, but I got to meet the other judges. And I started to meet these people, and from that one event, from saying yes to that one thing, opened the doors to so many other things. From that one event, I met, so obviously the judges there, I got to know, and I built relationships with them. And from that, I ended up being nominated for an award, because one of the judges I ended up getting to know, and he nominated me for an award. I ended up winning that award. Following on from that, I ended up meeting so many different people. All these doors began to open, and I all of a sudden began to network with these really successful people. I was being invited along to exclusive events, and I remember this one time I was at this event, and I was sat on this table like I had pictured in my head so many times. It was a really exclusive event. I'm there, sat on this table, and on my table with me, in fact, I was sat next to His Royal Highness the Duke of York. On the other side of me was the Duke of Devonshire. Around the table was one of the guys who was on the Dragon's Den. All these really, really incredibly successful entrepreneurs, and me. And I'm like, this is like something I imagined in my head. And I'm thinking, blimey, it really does work. When you really visualize what you want and you get clear on your intentions, it manifests itself, it happens. And I was just sat there absolutely blown away. And that all came from really getting clear on my intentions and networking and meeting these people. And that was phenomenal. And then that led on to being invited along to Buckingham Palace to talk about entrepreneurship. And for me, that was like almost like the cherry on top of the cake, because I had gone from not knowing anyone, from having a network of zero, to going to being invited to Buckingham Palace to talk about entrepreneurship around a table with a handful of some of the most successful entrepreneurs I can think of. And there was me sat there like I had pictured in my head so many times when I was imagining these scenarios of all these different things I wanted to be invited to, of all these different people that I wanted to get to know. And that happened because I got really clear on what I wanted to make happen, and then I networked, I got out there, and I made the effort to connect with people, to build relationships with people, and that is so powerful. And if I can do it with having started, 18 months, 2 years early with a network of zero, then I think anyone can make it happen. You can attract the most influential people into your networks when you open yourselves up and you believe that you are on the same level as those people, and that you deserve to be at events with those people, and that you can imagine yourself talking with them, chatting with them, having conversations with them, because that's exactly what I did. So if you want to do that, and if you want to really build a powerful network around yourself, then here are some steps to follow. The first step is this: get really, really clear on who you want in your network. In your wildest dreams, who do you want surrounding you? Who do you want in your network? And think about it in a general sense. What kinds of people? Obviously, positive people who believe in you, who lift you up, who think you are doing something incredible, people who you really resonate with and connect with. But who specifically do you want? How successful do you want them to be? Do you want them to be multimillionaires? Do you want them to be really interested in making a difference in the world? What kind of people do you want in your network? And if you know any people that you really want to reach out to, or if you see any circles of people already out there today and you think, I want to be in that circle, then start picturing yourself in that circle. Stop seeing yourself as outside of it. Start seeing yourself as in it, like you know them. Start having conversations with them in your head like you're already friends with them, like you already know them really well, they know you really well. You can pick up the phone to them and have a chat with them. Start to get really clear on it. Set clear intentions of who you want in your network. And then once you've done that, get out there, start mingling, start connecting, start opening yourself up to all these different channels of meeting all these different people. Open yourself up and be ready to connect with other people. Be ready and go out there with the mindset to build relationships, to be your true, authentic, genuine self. And you go out there with the intention as well to give. What can you do to help other people? Get really clear on that mindset and go out and mingle and network and connect. And then thirdly, visualize your network, visualize the people that you want in your network, and just spend a few minutes every day or every week or whenever you get a chance to imagine them being in your network and being friends with them and like you already know them. That is powerful. That has really, really helped me. And if I can do it, if I can build a network, then anyone can build a network. So I really hope those things help you. They have really, really helped me. I'd love it if you could leave a comment and let me know what you think. Have any crazy things happened to you where you have wanted to build your network and you've set really clear intentions and then random people have popped into your life? I'd love it if you could share your advice, and I will see you next time.